Akshay likes to start at the crack of dawn. So it took me 3 hours to get into prosthetics, and I would be on set every day at 4:35 a.m., pitch dark, freezing cold, to get to looking like Mrs. Gandhi. I started filming my parts a day before Akshay started shooting for Bell Bottom. So in a sense, I was actually the first actor to be back on a set working in a commercial film right in the middle of the pandemic. I am choosy. I don't want to do the things that I was constantly doing in the past. Today, from an acting point of view, I just want it to be challenging. I want to come out, I want to surprise the audience. Just giving her the best life that we can give her right now with the right amount of grounding and keeping her grounded.
Huge welcome to ETimes. We are so happy to have you joining with us today.
And thank you so much.
And I am really excited to watch the film tomorrow because ever since the trailer dropped, with your look, the fact that you are on screen, everything has just kept me on my toes. So now that the film is on the OTT space, that means a wider audience and reach. That also leads to more appreciation as well as criticism, if any. So how much do you let the reviews bother you? Are you affected by them, or have you been affected by them?
Well, to be honest, I've been in the industry for now almost 18 years. So, you learn to take the good with the bad. And as an actor, you do your best whenever you come into a project, and, you want the audience to appreciate the effort that you put in. But the audience is honest. And I also realize that it's impossible to make all the people happy all the time. So it's, I know that some people will enjoy it. Some people will really like what they see. And some people, of course, will give you criticism. And a lot of times it's positive criticism. And then, of course, you have the trolls as well,
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is that I choose to focus on the positives. And even positive criticism that comes in only helps you grow as an actor. So I'm super, super excited that, given the scenario in India and that we had a very limited theatrical release, I think, as you rightly said, I'm very excited that a larger, amount of people are going to be able to watch this. And so far, I've been extremely blessed and grateful for just all the feedback that's come my way from people that have watched the film on the big screen. So I'm very, very excited to see how people react to this as well.
So, what was your thought process when you were first approached for Indira Gandhi's role? And since, everyone's spoken so much about your transformation, what is that one thing which nobody knows yet?
Well, obviously, the first time when Akshay called me and he actually approached me for the film in May of 2020. And at that point of time, we were in our serious first phase of lockdown. The entire industry had come to a standstill. There was nothing that was moving. I genuinely thought that TK Akshay is sitting at home and he's decided, let me prank people. And now I'm the one that he's chosen today to call up and say, ki, haan, tu Indira Gandhi ban ja. So I mean, my initial reaction was just like, are you bored sitting at home? Like, what are you doing? Knowing that Akshay is a workaholic. But he was dead serious. And he said, no, we're casting for this film and I need an actor who has a certain amount of gravitas, has a certain kind of body language. I really think that you'll be able to do this justice. And when I realized he was being serious, for any female actor, this is an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to portray an iconic character like Mrs. Gandhi on screen. But it also makes you very nervous because, her life has been so well documented. Yeah. She's been a person who's been revered by a lot of people, but a lot of people also had issues, with her policies and the decisions that she made. So there's a massive responsibility to portray her on screen accurately. And I think the initial excitement to play her very quickly gave way to a lot of nervousness as well to, kind of really step into her shoes. Also because I know that in real life, I look nothing like Mrs. Gandhi. So that was a massive challenge as well. So yes, as you said, apart from the prosthetics, I would say, as soon as I looked pretty amazed at the transformation myself. I mean, there was nowhere that I could see Lara looking back at me when I was looking at myself in the mirror. And that also kind of hit home further the responsibility of saying, okay, we've got the look pretty close. Now I need to back it up with a performance. And that took a lot of homework, a lot of inputs from Ranjit Tiwari, our director. We sat and I watched hours of Mrs. Gandhi's footage. So though the film know, Bell Bottom is set over just 24 hours. It's one incident that took place during Mrs. Gandhi's tenure. Um, she was not a dramatic person, and it was a rather dramatic incident.
True.
In a hijack is, dramatic, but she was always so in control to keep that element alive, regardless of what was going on around us. So it took quite a bit of homework, and for people to know that it's also the first time that I was in prosthetics as an actor. I mean, for me, it was an experience like no other. There's no rubbing your nose or scratching your face or anything like that for like 10, 12 hours a day. So you literally have to sit on your hands. And of course, as people know, we shot the film in Glasgow last year in August. It was freezing cold. Akshay likes to start at the crack of dawn. So it took me 3 hours to get into prosthetics. And I would be on set every day at 4:35 a.m., pitch dark, freezing cold, to get to looking like Mrs. Gandhi.
So, the transformation actually became one of the major elements for the film ever since the first look was out. So, that also meant a lot of eyes were on you, and your role would be the one being assessed the most. So, were you worried about the comparison?
At that point of time, when you're going into a film, I'm really only focused on doing what I can to give this 100% commitment. So I don't think any actor really focuses on iske baad kya hoga, how will people react to it. I think the first thing is to be honest to the role that you're playing. So all your energy really goes into portraying a character. Then when you see what you've done on screen, once it's shot, then I think it comes into play that, wow, okay, I don't know what the audiences are going to think of it, So for the initial part of it, really just focused on giving 100% and just nailing that as close as possible.
Mm-hmm. So, you have earlier said that when Mahesh saw your bell-bottom look, he didn't want to hug you. So what did you reply in return?
Yeah, so I was saying, the first day that I actually got onto set, there were no other films, firstly, shooting internationally or domestically. And Bell Bottom was the very first film to create this bio bubble and go on the floors. Mm-hmm. And I started filming my parts a day before Akshay started shooting for Bell Bottom. So in a sense, I was actually the first actor to be back on a set working in a commercial film right in the middle of pandemic. Yeah. And it was a drastically different environment that we passed into. I mean, we had all spent, it was immediately the day after the first 14 days of quarantine that we were all quarantined in together. Yeah. And I got onto the makeup chair, I got ready, I got dressed. I was finally wearing also what I was wearing as Mrs. Gandhi on set. And then I walked on to set. And it became very apparent very quickly through that day that everybody was just behaving very strangely. People were being extremely polite, and they were standing up taller, and they were just, they were mamming me and giving me a lot of space around me. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, what happened? And that's also because I'm not looking at myself constantly. So I can't see what I forgot for a few minutes who I was looking like. Mm-hmm. And I think at that time itself, everybody on set kind of realized that there was something happening here that was actually quite special and quite different. And, once you're dressed and you're in character, you kind of also imbibe the body language of the character that you're playing. So I'm very animated. I speak a lot with my hands. My facial expressions are much, bigger, mm-hmm. far more animated than Mrs. Gandhi was. But on set, while I was on character, I was obviously much more subdued, much more calmer, much more in sort of control of things. And I remember Akshay sitting next to me on the couch while a shot was being set up, and he just kept staring at me. And I was just like, what is wrong with you? Why are you staring at me? He's like, Lara, bahut ajeeb lag raha hai tere paas aise baith ke. So it was just, it just changed everybody around me. And then Mahesh showed up for the first day on set during lunchtime, and we were sitting in our catering tent. Mm-hmm. And I had an apron around my sari because I didn't want to get it dirty. There you couldn't change and things like that. And he walked in, and I was there in my full regalia, and he just froze. He was like, okay, I don't know. Am I supposed to give you a hug and say hi? He's like, I don't want to hug you. You don't look anything like my wife. And Yeah, it was just, it was interesting to see people's reactions around me for those couple of days.
So, Lara, with time, you have made a significant mark of yourself in the industry with such varied and path-breaking roles. So now, as an actor, are you choosy and rejecting a lot of things coming in your way in order to maintain that individuality?
Yes, I do. I also think that, I've done a lot. Like I said, I've been here for 18 years. And I think the advent of the digital space in India has changed so much, especially for female
Yeah.
actors. I mean, today I'm in my 30s. I'm doing some of the best work that I've done in the last decade in my life. And you're no longer relegated just to playing somebody's girlfriend or somebody's wife or somebody's long-suffering mother on screen anymore. Women, the characters for women that are being written are more layered. They're better written characters. You have so much more women being included on all levels within the industry. So not just actors, but directors, writers, producers. And that in itself has brought around such a huge change. I mean, even the digital platforms, most of them are led by women. So the content drivers are a lot of women in the driving seat. So it's really fascinating and very, very exciting to be offered the kind of roles that are coming my way now. So yes, I am choosy. I don't want to do the things that I was constantly doing in the past. You have varied as an actor, you have a lot of different reasons that you do a film. But I think today, from an acting point of view, I just want it to be challenging. I want to come out, I want to surprise the audience. Like, I'm very glad with all the reactions that have come my way with this.
Yeah.
Of course, people have said, oh, but why would you want to play an older character on screen? I mean, I don't understand the logic. It's Indira Gandhi. Which female actor wouldn't want to play her in her lifetime on screen?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter whether Mrs. Gandhi was 34 or 50 at the time that I was playing her. I mean, these are the things you live for. It's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. So, I know Saira is too young, but if she had to get into films or seize a profession in this field, what would be your piece of advice for her?
She is too young, to be really honest, and then these become hypothetical questions. I mean, at the moment, she has absolutely no inclination to join the industry, so it's just, I mean, she'll form her own path, and I think Mahesh and I both are incredibly supportive of just giving her the best life that we can give her right now with the right amount of grounding and keeping her grounded and keeping her focused on the things that she loves. And she'll find her own passion and follow it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking about Mahesh, you both recently completed 10 years of marriage. So, what has changed in this decade of partnership and what has remained unchanged between the two of you?
Well, marriage, as all people who are married know, that it's not easy. It's literally is a partnership. It's two people, working every single day to make that partnership work.
Yeah.
And I think with Mahesh and me, we both come from similar backgrounds. Maybe, we come from very sort of humble beginnings. Our parents have both on both sides worked extremely hard to, give us the opportunities that we've had in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so we understand the value of hard work. We're both very respectful of each other and very considerate of each other's careers. And he's extremely supportive with mine. And we made a deal when we found out that I was pregnant with Saira. We said that at any given point of time, one parent would always be with her. And in the last 10 years, we've managed to keep that. So regardless of if I'm doing a film, Mahesh makes sure that he's with her at all times. If he's away on work or when he was actively playing on the tennis tour, I took a sabbatical and made sure that I was very present in my daughter's life. So you grow, your relationship evolves. And I think 10 years later, we're stronger. We're, like I've said, always very kind, respectful, and considerate of each other. And you make it work.
This is a nice thought. So, thank you so much, Lara, for doing this with me. I had a great time chatting with you, and I really look forward to see you more on films. And I really look forward to
Thank you.
more such conversations. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
Aditi. You too.
Bye.
Take care.